All right, today we're going to take a look at Google Meet and just getting started. Since we're doing this from a classroom, you'll be able to access this from your Google Classroom. Little piece here, if you go into your class settings, just in case you don't see it, you'll be able to create a Google Meet link, make it visible to students. And once you've done that, it'll appear on your Stream tab in the top left. We see here that it is visible to students. We can copy the link if we want to. If you want to share it with students, maybe an announcement, or put it in an assignment or so forth, or on a calendar, which we'll review. Once you're in here, you want to join. Click on Join. Click Join Now. I'm muting myself now because I'm doing this through an external microphone. But just for the sake of getting started here, in terms of what we have, you'll see that if you're muted, you'll see a announcement there saying that it's muted. We can turn off our camera and turn it on. We can add closed captions, which will transcribe as we go in terms of what we say. You can raise your hand or instruct your students to raise a hand if they have a question. Share your screen, hang up when you're done, and there are other options which I'll go over in a little bit. Over here on the bottom, we have meeting details in terms of how to join. Students or whoever participates have the option of joining in through the internet via a link, or they can also call in if needed. I don't know how often you'll see this, but it is a possibility. Show who's participating, open a chat, and we have activities here, which we will go through also. That overall is a tour of just what we have in terms of features within Google Meet. All right, so going a little deeper in terms of what we have for resources here. First one is going to be share screen. You can share your entire screen, a window, or a tab. Now, if you're working with a tool in Chrome, it's always best to use Chrome since these are Google tools. This is probably the best one because you can limit it to your internet browser, a particular tab, which makes it so people are seeing less of the background and helps you kind of control what people are seeing a little bit better. So I'm going to do a tab here. I have two tabs that are options. I'm sharing my screen. This is a little difficult to show here since I'm sharing a screen that I'm already showing you. And I can record the meeting, and then I can also open a whiteboard. So I'm going to do that here. You can choose one or select one. And I have it here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in. Now that I've done this, I'm going to share my screen, share a tab, and I'm going to select the whiteboard. That is now shared. This is what my students are seeing. You see this little rectangle here? That shows me that this tab is being shared. And I can also, switch tabs. I'll go a little deeper into Jamboard in a bit to show you the options there. I'm going to stop sharing now. Go back to my meeting. And also, once a Jamboard is created, you can also go into your drive and select a different one. A couple other options here. That was the whiteboarding. I can record a meeting. Let's say a student is absent. They can go back later and view it. These are new tools. If you're in a private account, a private Google account, you may not see these options. These are specific to Google Enterprise, which your district most likely has. But if you go in from your personal Google account, you may not see these. You can do breakout rooms in terms of small group discussions. Set up breakout rooms. You'll be allowed to select size based on the number of students in the class. Polls. Ask a question. can add options. And then you can launch it. And the viewers and participants in the class can vote. So basically you can take a quick poll or you could use this as a quick formative assessment to open to your students. And right here, if you click on that, your students can see the results as they're moving through it. Q&A allows students to ask questions. This would in some cases be referred to as a back channel. This way, if you don't want to just have students raise their hand and kind of interrupt the flow, they can ask questions, which will keep a tally, and then you're able to see them, and then you can stop and answer them a little more at your pulse. It allows you not to lose momentum, and at the same time, hopefully minimizes the number of times that maybe you hold off a student from asking a question until you complete your thoughts, and then ask the student what the question is, and they maybe have forgotten at that point. So this is often, although it's called a Q&A chat, it is oftentimes referred to also as a back channel. And I believe, as mentioned, recording and whiteboarding. All right, now let's take a look at some of the ways to control, as an administrator, control your Google Meet session. So we had down here, as we saw before, these pieces on the right. We have the meeting details, and then this next one over that I mentioned but we didn't go into refers to the people. Right now they're all muted. Granted, that's only me. We can add people. We can name it, call them, so forth. Obviously, or most likely, you won't need that because you're putting the meet within your classroom. That enables you to have more control over who's there. We can search for people. Right here, this one is key for us, host controls. There are some basic ones here. I'm going to go into view all host settings in a second. But right here, I can allow everybody to share their screen, to send chat messages, turn on their microphone, or turn on their video. I'm going to go all host. So this allows us to, limit what people can do. Here are the ones from before. Maybe you don't want people using their microphone. You want a period of time where it's off. Breakout room controls. Now I'm going to go into these two. Video. Right now I'm using the video on my camera. It is off. I can adjust the lighting if I want, resolution, and audio. We have the microphone. Noise cancellation is on, and we have our speakers, which we can test. So I would think that the most relevant one here, I don't usually mess with the audio and video, is what you want to allow your students to be able to do. And all that's under host controls. And once again, that's down here when you look at, who's in your course or your meet session. I also wanted to point out the visual effects. I actually have to turn on my camera for this. So I'm going to turn on my camera. I'm going to go into visual effects. Right off the bat, you can see behind me that I'm in an office. I have some pictures there. The thing we're learning about Google Meet and Zoom is that we can participate in class almost from anywhere. And let's say that I'm in my bedroom or my kitchen. I don't want you seeing the background. Right now there's no effect, but I can also slightly or completely blur my background so that you cannot see what's behind me. My room is a mess. I don't want you to see it, so I'm going to blur it. Maybe, there's just stuff I don't want you to see, so I can blur these. Right now I'm going to take away the blur. I can also add other pieces, other backgrounds. So I'm going to go with something that makes me looking for it now. I'm going to do a room with books on the back. I have some options there so that I look really smart. Or I'm going for a floral piece, so I'm going to add a blooming tree behind me. But so you have the option of adding custom ones, or you can take away all the backgrounds. We have some artistic ones here. I tend to go with, because we don't want to distract anybody, just no effect. And if I'm not in a place where my background is what I want people to see, I'll just blur it. I tend to stick with that. So I'm going to go back to no visual effects. I'm going to go in, and you have a couple options right there. Going into this a little deeper, we can go full screen. I mentioned the captions before. Right here, I can change the layout in terms of, if you're looking at the participants, how they're, laid out. Sidebar, you have your main picture in the front, maybe the person who's talking. You'll see tiles, everybody else. Spotlight, you only see the person who's talking. And then we have some tiled options where you're able to see everybody. You can adjust the number of tiles on a screen to increase the possibility of seeing everybody at once, if and look for raised hands and so on if it's a large class. We have the option to record a meeting. Once again, in case somebody's absent, you want to let everybody know that you're recording. We see recording start soon. It'll alert us that we're recording. It does a little bit of a delay of a few seconds, so you're able to get ready. Right now, I'm recording this video. Now I'm going to stop recording. The recording is saved to Google Drive. So I'm going to go back to my course here. I'm going to go to my classwork. And in my class drive folder, it'll appear soon, we're going to see the recording, the recording that I can share. I made a recording of a Google Meet session. As I said before, this might be something to share with students in a who maybe were absent from class. Now I want to show you where you can find that. We can go about this two ways. I can go to the Google Class folder. I am going to go to my drive, and there's a folder here called Meet Recordings, and I see the recording in there. If I right click, I can get the link, or I can share it. One other way to show it is if I want to go into either topics or the stream, I can make an announcement. I can add something from my drive. In this case, I'm going to add that recording. And it might be, here is a recording from class in case you missed it. And that's how you can record Google Meet and share it with students. And then also I can go in and share it with specific students if I want to make it so that, hey, that student was absent, let me share what they missed with them. Google Calendar is what I want to show you in this case. I'm going to create a class that is going to meet at 2:30. I can add guests. I have a number of options here. What I want to do is add video conferencing. I'm going to do Google Meet, and I'm going to say class time. I'm going to save it. Now, if we click on this, we see that there's a Google Meet there. I'm pointing this out because I want to show you the different ways that you can access Google Meet. You have it in your stream in terms of students log in at a certain time and they join the class, they join the meet. We can go to classwork. They can click here It'll open up a Google Meet. I'm not going to do that right now because I already have a Meet open. Or they can go to the Google Calendar, click on a specific time, and the Google Meet option is there. I'm going to edit this a little more. I can also make it so this repeats. Daily, we're going to meet between 2:30 and 3:30. Save. We see that it's there. And on top of it, if it is in Google Classroom, your students have access to this calendar. Therefore, if you want to have different Google Meets, your students can access the calendar. It'll, through their student account, they'll have access to this calendar so they can go in at any given time and not just check where the link is, but also know the time, and it might help organize things for them a bit. I did notice that I had certain days that are here that we're obviously not meeting. If I go into custom, I can customize this further. To customize what the students are seeing. I'm back in Classroom. I want to click on the meeting calendar. I'm going to click on 2 o'clock. Let's say school lets out at 2 o'clock. I can create appointment slots. Let's say I want to make them 20 minutes long. I can repeat it every weekday, Monday to Friday, and I'm going to save it. So the reason why I'm doing this is shows us that this could be an opportunity to give students office hours or extra help days when you're available, and they can make an appointment for extra help. Why would you do this? Well, if this was a normal school day and or we're in meeting face-to-face, traditional learning, then maybe you have extra help on Wednesdays after school. Well, you're going to be there anyways, so your students just show up and you're there. Maybe that's your policy. But if we're online, it's helpful to know if people are showing up. So you can say to students, listen, I do extra help every Wednesday from 2 to 3. Please make an appointment if you're going to, take advantage of this so I know that you're there. They go on, they click on that link, they make an appointment, and that way you know that Wednesday at 2:30 that some student is coming and you can be online and available for them rather than just hanging out online in case somebody shows up. Once you have that link, you can go back to your classwork or stream and you can get the link for it to your Google Calendar. They can go in through the classwork and click on calendar. You can also put an announcement in there as well in your classroom under the stream. All right, so we've taken a look at several components of using Google Meet through Google Classroom, the features of Google Meet, and best practices. This concludes the session, but I am happy to answer any further questions that you may have. I will include my email and contact information in the description below, and please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.